Thanks for being here today. Obviously a bittersweet time for our organization. This conference had been planned for the week after Don passed, and Don had planned it, and Don was going to lead the conference, and so our hearts are heavy. We miss Don immensely, and it's a tough period for us. So I just want to acknowledge that Don was front and center and a part of the decisions that have been made by the organization, and we wish he was here. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Matt Bardsley for 3 fine years of service here. It ended a little prematurely, but we respect Matt's personal decision, and glad that he's back home now where he wanted to be, and he's got a nice career ahead of him with the NHL Flyers in the area of scouting. So we wish him very well. We thank Matt for all he brought to our organization. He brought some new ways of doing things, some innovative strategies, and so we appreciate all that he did for us, and wish him well. The main focus today is to announce the decision the organization's made in terms of general manager, and we have asked Shaun Clouston to assume the GM's duties. This is the first time since our ownership of the team back in 2007 that we've had a dual role head coach and GM, and we thought right now with the personnel that we have in the organization and Shaun's extensive resume, having done both the GM and head coach's job in Medicine Hat simultaneously and having good success with that. So it felt like the right thing to do, because we have some other talent in the organization, Tim O'Donovan and Robbie Sandland, who are ambitious guys with lots to prove. So it seemed that the best fit was to stay internal, and we see the GM duties being headed by Shaun, but getting a lot of help from Robbie and from Tim. On the same breath, we want to also announce the appointment of Tim O'Donovan to assistant general manager. Tim's been with the club for 12 years now and done virtually every job there is to do, other than skate for the team. So he's done the odd shift on the bench, running the defense when we've been down a coach or something like that. So, Tim's just a great story of coming in here as a volunteer and learning the trade and just excelling at every position that he's been in. So we're asking Tim to take on more responsibilities, and as such be reflected in his new title. So we're excited. We have full confidence in these guys, and that they're going to get the job done, and we're going to continue to be a top team. So over to you, Shaun, and then Tim.
Thanks, Tom. I do want to say thank you to Tom and the Blazer organization for this opportunity to continue on, but also accept a larger role, some more responsibilities with the Kamloops Blazers. I've loved my time here. It's been 2 years. We have a great group of players. We have a great staff. I've really enjoyed making Kamloops my home. I've moved my family here, and we love Kamloops, and I really love being a Blazer. So I'm thrilled for this opportunity. I'm honored, very grateful that I'm going to get a chance to continue on. Really looking forward to working with Tim. Tim's been unbelievable for us. He does so many things. I don't think people realize that, and I know that he's looking forward to continuing on and accepting more responsibilities. And I think that's why this is going to work really well. I think when you look at things, you have to have great people. You have to have a great staff. And between Tim and Robbie, I think we've got both sides of the hockey department covered. We've got the player personnel. You look at our last 2 drafts, and Robbie's been in charge of that. Our drafts are terrific. There's a great system in place, and that was Matt and Robbie. And so we're not looking to change anything there. We're just looking to continuing on with our game plan. It's identifying the best players, based on the way we want to play, and so that's taken care of. And Tim is just going to help and continue on the hockey op side. He's been our director of hockey operations and done a terrific job. So I'm looking forward to working with Tim, with Robbie, with Toledo, and the rest of our staff in making this even more successful. And the last part, I do want to thank Don, and he's not here, but he was the guy that he informed me that I was going to get the job. And on the Saturday after he passed, Tom called a meeting, and our whole staff was there. We talked about Morsey, and shared some tears and shared some laughs. And the one thing that Tom made clear is that we weren't going to forget him, and we weren't going to let his passion and his energy and enthusiasm, go away. That we were going to embrace that and make sure that we continued on in that way. So, and we're going to do that. I mean, he was a special person, and he was so loved in the community. And his favorite saying after a win, he'd come down with a big smile on his face and say, "It's a great day to be a Blazer." And so that's what we're going to continue on with. We're going to embrace that and remember that and march forward. So just want to end by saying thanks again. I appreciate this opportunity. Really looking forward to digging in and getting to work and continuing on. I think we've got a real nice team this year, next year, moving forward, and I'm looking forward. It's right around the corner. The season's going to start back up, and I can't wait. So thank you very much.
And for me,
Thanks.
I'm really thankful for the opportunity here, right from Tom, the ownership group. They've given me a lot of opportunities throughout my time here with the Blazers to grow and to get to this position. I feel really fortunate and proud. And working with Shaun the last 2 years has been great. I think through COVID, we became a lot closer. I think with Toledo, we became closer. There's a lot of times where we talked and just about life and about different things and philosophy because we had so much time to talk. And I think we really grew close as a staff through that time. And really echo what Shaun said and what Tom said about Don Moore is he's a mentor to me. He's been a mentor to me for the last 5 years being here. Really special and individually supported you so much, and we're going to greatly miss him around here, but his legacy will live on for a long time. I can really credit a lot to him as to where I am today and who I am as a person. He had a great impact on my life and who I am. And then really moving forward, really excited about our team and our group and our staff. I mean, we have great people throughout this organization. We really do, right from the top, from the owners right down to our staff and our players and our billets and even the support staff that we have, the part-time people we have. We have so many good people that love this team and are proud of this team. And then that's what it is for me, right from starting here as a volunteer and putting in time and getting to this point. I absolutely love this team and love this city and want to see it have success. And I think we're on the right track here and coming off back-to-back BC Division titles, led by Shaun. And I think this team is really on the cusp of great things. And I look forward to working with everybody here and moving forward.
Right, Tom. Well, announcement today to fill the role internally here. Your thoughts on the two guys that'll sort of tag team the position that Matt Bardsley leaves vacant?
Well, I like the fact that we had an open mind to the whole process. We interviewed some external candidates and I during the process I got to know Shaun a bit better. He was the head coach obviously under Matt Bardsley, and the more I talked to Shaun, the more comfortable I got with that, and so did Don. And we started to have specific conversations about how this could work. And then we looked at our group underneath, and we had two strong, really strong guys who are on the verge of being GMs themselves. So it just became kind of obvious to us that the answers were already here internally, and this would also give Robbie and Tim, the best chance to move their careers along as well. So it just didn't feel right to bring a new person in when Shaun knows how to do the job. He's done the job, and he has more to give, and so that's where Don and I landed with the decision.
This team is in a situation where you need a skilled GM probably the next couple of years. The fact that you did it in 7 years, how important is it to have a guy to maneuver through what could be a couple of big years for your team ahead?
Yeah, well, when we went into the process, one thing that Don and I agreed on, that the GM had to have experience in the Western League, so we didn't want to have a rookie and somebody that hadn't been involved in the league before. So that was a filter that we applied, and obviously we ticked that box in the selection that we've made. So we're heading we're in a good trajectory here. So there wasn't a need to bring in new viewpoints, new strategies, new ways of doing things. So our scouting staff remains intact, and we're heading down the same trail we're going through. So the decision just felt like it was the right one.
Tom,
any big names on the outside that you guys considered within the league?
I don't think it's fair of us to name names.
With the passing of Donnie Moores, there's a huge hole in your organization. Plans moving forward to fill that role, do you have any?
Well, I think we're going to want to fill it. And, Don demonstrated how important it is to have that local community senior leader, in the community every day. And so, that was very powerful, and we all got to see it. And so we're going to want to find that person again. So, obviously these are massive shoes to fill. They won't be easy to fill, and they won't be quickly filled. So there's no, I don't think anybody around her's even thought about it. Our thoughts are with Don and the family, and I think we just need some time to move on.
Well, what about someone like a Norm Daly? You have a relationship with him, and he's exactly what you've talked about. He's well known in the community. What about someone like him?
Well, I don't know. I haven't spoken to Norm about this specifically. Norm's the chair of our advisory board, and obviously his community resume speaks for itself. So, that would be an interesting guy for sure. But we just haven't had any conversations about names or anything at this stage.
I think it's no secret that Tim wanted to be the GM, and so did Shaun. Was it just the steady hand and the experience that won the day for Shaun in your mind?
I think that certainly Tim applied. Tim was interviewed, and the decision we landed on felt like it was the closest to where we are now, and that Tim would benefit from some experience in some of the areas of the job that he hasn't had experience in, namely scouting, working with scouts. So he's taking on more responsibility now. So, I think after this turn, he'll be his resume will be right there in terms of securing a GM job in the league, and perhaps with the Blazers one day. But really close. But it just made the most sense to take your head coach who's done it before, and he's got the steadiest hand. So internally, and Tim's going to be an unbelievable resource to him, as will Robbie, our director of player personnel. So all the bases will be covered.
I'll ask Shaun about this. Was there any consideration splitting up those duties? kind of giving him the GM role, but hiring a head coach as well, or?
No, we think Shaun Clouston's an excellent head coach. He's certainly demonstrated that here the past 2 seasons, and so one of the considerations was we don't want to take away from Shaun's focus on coaching the team, and so and that's where we've landed on Tim and Robbie taking chunks of the GM portfolio on, and to try to make sure that Shaun spends the bulk of his time being the head coach. So we think with the staff we've got here that we'll come up with a suitable arrangement here that Shaun's in charge, but these guys have sizable portfolios that they'll be running with and be responsible for under Shaun's guidance.
Obviously, this is I would say old hat for you, but you've done this role 7 years. So what's your comfortability as you take over this team in that capacity?
Yeah, I'm really comfortable doing it. I learned a lot, during my time in Medicine Hat, so I'm aware of the challenges. I don't think too many things are going to surprise me. There's always surprises, but I've seen lots. I think we're very well positioned here with the support staff, and I think that's really going to help. I think early on, when I became a general manager in our league, I wanted kind of my hands on everything, and you cling a little bit to certain things. I think I learned how important relying on your staff is. Delegation becomes really important, and it's making sure that you empower people around you, to be able to do the things that the organization needs done. So I'm looking forward to it, and I think we have great people to work with.
You've known Tim for, I guess it's been 2 years. Not exactly 2 seasons, but it is what it is. So that's sort of a short hockey relationship, maybe in the hockey world. But now you have to kind of go, together with him forward. How do you work with him, and what's the trust levels you work with him now forward?
Yeah, trust level's really high. I think Tim alluded to it a little bit during his talk. We've got to know each other really well. I mean, I think looking back years from now, the COVID year will be something that everybody remembers. The players will remember it. The staff, the coaches will remember it. So, we've gotten to know each other really well. We went through a really trying time. The entire hockey world went through a really trying time to get through to finally being able to play a shorter season and then have some success. So, we worked well together. The last 2 years, I think we'll continue to work well together. I think it's about communication. It's about sharing. It's about being open. Being open to suggestions, being open to ideas. Coming together and making a decision and then executing.
You're taking over a team that's in a really good spot right now. What's your plan to get it over the top?
Yeah, I think right now, not a lot. I mean, right now, we do have a couple of things we have to look at. I mean, Dylan Grant is going to go to camp, and he's going to be, world junior goaltender. So we do have to think about that. We've got 6 defensemen right now that we plan on having in our lineup. We have to make a decision, and sometimes that decision is made during camp. Who the 7th and/or 8th player is. So those would be the 2 challenges right in front of us. I think the Makarov situation might take a little while to resolve. I mean, the Russians and the Belarusians, there might be a little bit of a challenge getting them over here, considering the environment. So for right now, it's reach out to everybody, talk to our players, our prospects, our 50-player list, and make sure that they understand that we care about them and that they're in our plans, and then get to training camp. And as the season progresses, and this is an interesting year with double drafts, as the season progresses, evaluate where we're at for this year, compare that to where we think we could be next year, because I think we've got real nice, makeup right now for the next 2 years, maybe with an adjustment or 2.
Your scouting trips, you mentioned the draft. There's one in December, one in May. This is a time where sometimes general managers take off, or maybe they have to go recruit somewhere here. So is that something you're planning to do, step away from the bench? Have you thought about maybe some of these situations where that might arise?
Yeah, I mean, it can arise occasionally. I mean, in general, comfort zone is on the bench, but I'm open if things, you know, arise out of necessity to just take a look at those types of things. But yeah, I think there's lots going on. I mean, Robbie's in Calgary right now. It depends on how long the meeting with Tom goes. I mean, there's the possibility that I jump in my vehicle and head to Calgary, and there's a real nice camp going on there with all the best 06s from kind of the Western provinces. So yeah, I mean, I you know, trust our guys, but like to be involved. I'm gonna, you know, spend some time with Robbie, maybe do a Zoom call with Jason and Ken Fox, and just support them and find out where everybody's at and if there's anything that we need to address moving forward. But I'm really confident that Robbie's got, you know, that side of it in great shape.
The way you build a team as well now, it used to be Matt Bardsley, now you're the person constructing the team you're going to coach. And I think back in Medicine Hat, I think of a very similar team to what you have here as far as smaller skilled teams here, with a little bit of sandpaper here. So with that said here, what's your philosophy with where the team is at roster-wise, and where do you sort of want to take it to with your own fingerprints?
Yeah, you know what, I mean, again, I think the philosophy that Matt brought, that we continue on with, is you draft the best player possible. I mean, you focus on IQ, you focus on skill, you focus on compete. You know, and if you have those things, if you have hardworking, intelligent, skilled players, you're going to be fine. I think naturally you end up with some of those players with some sandpaper. It just happens. If there comes a point where, you know, you believe you need a little bit more, well, then, you know, sometimes you have to look outside. You know, whether it's a list or a trade. Right now, I think we got, you know, I like our team. I mean, I think we've got a lot of depth up front. That depth is here for 2 years. I mean, we technically could, you know, have a roster this year where absolutely everybody is available to come back. I mean, that's a real neat spot to be in. Now, there will be a little bit of changeover on the back end, so, you know, we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look and figure out which of our players will be ready to step up, and address whether we need to add anything, you know, moving forward there.
Was it always the GM and coaching role that you wanted, not just the GM?
You know, my roots are coaching. I mean, when you start out in this business, I worked the minor leagues, you know, Central League, in the Western Professional League, in the West Coast League. You basically, you manage and coach, you recruit, you sign players, you trade players. So, you know, my roots are doing this. You know, my roots are where you're heavily involved in all areas of the game. But I was a player, and I'm passionate about coaching. So I think the choice, if there was a choice, was to be able to do both. I was really happy. This past season, you know, because of COVID, was challenging. I really enjoyed the first year, you know, taking a step back and focusing on the coaching and having Matt handle all the other stuff. But I am looking forward to this next step.
What about aspirations for the next level, Shaun? Do you have aspirations for the NHL?
It's an interesting question. You know, we always talk to our players about setting goals and working towards those things. I think that, you know, there's probably a time in my career where you know, early on in my career, you just say yes right away. Of course, that's what you want. But maybe, you know, realistically weren't prepared, confident enough to get there. I think it's one thing to get there, and then it's another thing to be able to hang on and stay there. It's obviously a very elite level. So I think that it's taken a long time for me to get to this point in my career as a coach, where when I came into Kamloops, I felt incredibly prepared. I felt like it was a wonderful opportunity to take everything I'd learned throughout my entire hockey career and put it into practice, and really proud of, you know, what we've got going on here. I really enjoy our group. I love our players. You know, I enjoy coming to the rink every day. So this next step is going to take most of my focus, and then yeah, I think I'm at a place now where I can say a little bit more confidently, at some point if there's an opportunity, I'd be ready.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Applied for the general manager job. Disappointed not to get it, but at the same time, I guess you get a promotion. What are you kind of thinking?
Yeah, this is kind of best case scenario. I probably still have some to learn through the league, and I think this gives me the opportunity to do that. And working with Shaun and Robbie, Robbie's done such a good job in the scouting staff, and Shaun on the hockey side and coaching and that, it just gives me more opportunity to learn from some really good people in the organization.
Today's announcement is, not very often does a guy work up from basically a volunteer to an assistant general manager in an organization. It obviously provides hope for a lot of people trying to do that here, but you got to feel, pretty proud about, the accomplishment here to get to this level.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of patience at times and perseverance, and I've always had a love for the game from a young age, and always have loved this team, and being a part of this team for me is basically a dream come true, and getting to this point, I'm really proud of the work that's been put in, and the people that I've been surrounded by, and I've learned a lot from a lot of the different people that have been through here, and the GMs and the staffs and the coaches and everything like that, and I've been fortunate because of that to get different opportunities in different places with Hockey Canada and things like that. So it's all a learning experience for me, and every day is kind of a day to learn and get better, and I've had that opportunity here with the Blazers for a long time.
You think of it, all the people you've worked with different personalities, big ones, small ones, lots of coaching experience, minimal coaching experience here. So drop some names for us here. Who sort of influenced you to, as far as how you want to, be a manager?
Right from the start, when I first started here, basically in 2004, I walked into Mike Moore's office, and Mike gave me an opportunity to help with the video, and worked with Dean Clark to start. And Guy Sharon's been really impactful for me. Don Hay's been great. I think Craig Bonner, Stu McGregor, Don Hay. There's been so many good coaches through here and good people in this organization that have had careers in the game. And now with Shaun's just right up that alley as well. He's had nothing but success in this league, and he's done such a good job for such a long time, and getting the chance to work with him is really exciting for me.
With that said, though, you're taking on new duties, probably ones you've already been doing. But how does this change your day-to-day job as far as what you'll be doing?
Yeah, I don't know if it overly changes too much. I did a lot of the video stuff before. I might get away from that a little bit and learn a little bit more on the scouting side, and talking with the agents and other parts of it with the players' parents and recruiting. I think that's probably a side I haven't been a part of enough, and for me to get that chance, and will be something that will help me grow a little bit more. And Robbie's done such a good job on the scouting side, and we're really set in that area. But this gives me a chance to grow into that too, and learn that part of the business as well.
It's right into the fast lane, though, right? This team is destined to be pretty good for the next little bit. There's a Memorial Cup bid in the horizon as well. So, this is going to probably take a lot of work and probably a lot of thought in the next couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. This organization right now is in a really good spot. Matt came in 3 years ago and has done such a good job, and we're in a spot that we have a lot of draft picks, we have a lot of good players, and we've got 2 big drafts ahead here coming up. So it's the next 10 months is going to be real busy, but also a great time for this franchise.
Good.
Right on.
Good.
Nice.
That was a little